washing machine, fridge, smart TV, air conditioner, kitchen items amadi makal khudingmakki home appliances kidamak poina waningai leite. Kaisampat Kunjen Hazari Lekai Dalaiba Mezo of Impalna ahongbo mamalda item khudingmakki up to 50% discount offer pizari. Wedding set unalong matamdasu special oiba discount kayasu thamjari. Interest amatta yaudena 0% EMI loan ni kudong chabasu thamjari. Kudong chabasi mahan biraganu ngasi maklengsin biraku Mezo of Impal Kaisampat Kunjen Hazari Lekai.
Hello and a very good evening. Welcome to ELITETV's Open Debate in English. I'm Utpala, your host for tonight. The erosion of moral values in our society has become a very disturbing phenomenon. Moral values are those set of standards by which we recognize between right or wrong. These values can come from self, family, community, religion, government, or any other agency that influences the thoughts of an individual. The way our society has approached individual happiness and success has caused a deterioration in respect for others. It has caused egoism, selfishness, conflict, and the lack of willingness to help others or cooperation. And what about family values? Values give families an outlook in life, a way to view the world and their situation, as well as an identity. Values can also add to relationships and influence judgments, behaviors, and parenting styles. Family values serve as the core of what family members do, the opinions they have. With that, let's come to the topic for tonight's open debate, a very important topic pertaining to the world today. Our topic for tonight is deterioration of the morals and values of our society. Let me introduce you to our panelists for tonight. Going from our left to the right on the screen, we have Dr. Konika Khuraijam, Educationist. Welcome to ELITETV Open Debate, Dr. Khuraijam. Next, we have Dr. Rajivkumar, founder IRE Wangjing. Welcome to Open Debate, Elite Open Debate, Dr. Rajivkumar. And last but not the least, we have Mr. N.Satyajeet, Bureau Chief, UNI. Welcome to our Open Debate, to Elite Open Debate. Once again, a warm welcome to our three panelists. Let's begin our open debate with that. So, viewers, let's begin the open debate for tonight. My first question will go from left to right on my screen. So that we'll start with Dr. Konika Khuraijam. Well, doctor, what are the main causes of, according to you, what are the main causes of cultural loss?
When we go to cultural loss, I would like to say a little bit about the value system of the society.
Right.
Because everything emits out, or it comes out from the society. And if you have to talk about moral values,
right,
it is something that teaches us good virtue like honesty, truthfulness, kindness, integrity, helpfulness,
right,
compassion, love, respect for others, hard work, cooperation, forgiveness, etc. And moral values direct the path and build a good character and better society and help people make the right choices and decisions.
Yes.
Moral or ethical values help a person resolve challenging situations and issues. But if you really look into the youth of today, or rather society of today,
yes,
we cannot deny the facts that moral values or cultural values are declining.
Yes.
The younger generations are very, very busy preparing for their lives ahead with very little concern of their elders or social or family affairs. We often see neglect of parents and elders. And we also see that because of this hectic competitive life, young parents are often leaving their children in creche or daycare centers. Now, in this struggle for survival. Who do we blame for the decline in moral values? And when I say decline in moral values, I also come to the facts that it is a decline of our cultural values, because our moral value is like two sides of a coin. One is the moral value, and other side is the cultural value.
Yes.
If we recollect values, they are taught from family and the household. Once upon a time, we used to have our grandfathers and our grandmothers, telling us stories about brave people, telling us stories about moral, stories regarding moral values, etc.
Yes.
In our punga, we used to have punga, and they used to tell us punga wani, they used to
Absolutely.
tell time stories. Those were the times when we used to have joint families. Maybe because of the change in the society, or because of the westernization of our culture, everybody is now craving for a nuclear family. But I am not saying that nuclear family is something bad or it is very negative.
Right.
What I'm trying to say that what a joint family can imbibe to the children, it is not there in a nuclear family.
Yes, absolutely.
We hardly find this in the modern families. It is important to realize that values and moral lessons are learned or acquired from the actions of elders or from the society in which a child lives. If you have to look into the very phenomena of imparting values, we see different modes, like children learn from their surroundings and the way adults interact with each other. Now, it is the common knowledge that the society in which we live has changed so much and degraded morally in so many ways.
Right.
In fact, we are the example setting in front of our children.
Yes.
The value of touching the feet of elders, for example, is no longer, found.
Yes.
Except when the children are being compulsively told to do so, they do it. Otherwise, it doesn't come voluntarily. Why is it so?
Yes.
Why is the value of service to mankind lacking so much amongst our youth? Why is the value of respect slowly waning away? When you talk of respect, I'm talking about respect towards the elders, respect towards the parents, respect towards the society, respect towards women also.
Yes, absolutely.
It's completely going away, degrading. Now, Utpala, a teacher in a value education class might teach the children the importance of respect in the classroom.
Yes.
But the children are learning it in the form of question. Question answers, trying to reproduce it in the examination to get good grade. They are not practicing it at all.
Absolutely.
Values are to be practiced and taught. Values are not for passing and failing in examination. And as I tell you, once a child steps out from the classroom, these question-answer values are kept inside the classroom.
Yes.
And when they step out from the classroom, they completely forget about the values they learned.
Very true.
Therefore, these aspects of degradation of the society emits not only, we cannot blame it on the younger generation, because we are the one examples in front
Setting
of
the
them.
examples, yes.
It is coming up from the family, it is coming up from the educational system, it is coming up from the society.
Right.
So, I blame family, I blame the system, and I blame the society for the degradation of the youth of today.
Thank you so much for your input. I completely agree with all the points that you have put across. I'll come back to you in the second round. I'll move to Dr. Rajivkumar. Well, Dr. Rajivkumar, we're talking about, Dr. Khuraijam just spoke about the value degradation and what may be the reasons behind it. Now, in your opinion, do you think that our generation is raising entitled individuals? Could that be another reason why we're seeing so many changes? There's children of this generation are, as we can see, most of them are entitled. They feel entitled. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. looking to the perspective, as Dr. Konika has just rightly said, she has already pointed out the beautiful features of this, the erasing part of these moral values in the younger generations today. In my opinion, I would rather say that we have 3 important universities where the children can inculcate their habits of good habits. The the basic education which the children has to learn is the first and the most basic, the best and most biggest university is home. The second part is the institution is the second university where people prefer to go for both academic and personal excellence. And the third point is the third university is the societal part. So now the student or the children are learning from the basics of the home entirety. And the rearing culture of the parents are very important here. Whatever they talk, whatever they do, whatever they preach is adopted by the children in their moral. So secondly, the basics of this, apart from this academic, the children has to learn many basic things of the moral from home itself, where without any written, without any academics, they learn everything by looking and observing the behavior of the family. Then coming out from that area, they will go to the institutions where they are learning, and they will learn from the peer group, the surroundings, the fraternity of the friends, where how they are behaving. So we need to inculcate a very good space for learning, especially the morals. As the doctor has also just said that now people, the students, the younger generations are now really seen touching the feet of the elders. Actually, this tradition has to be carried on because it is one of the most beautiful dynamics of Indian culture as well as Manipur culture. So Manipuris, they are very adapted to respecting people, especially the visitors coming to home. When the hospitalities are cultured and well rendered, then we assume that the family is having a very beautiful background of the moral values. So we assume in that way. So now every house has a role to do. Every family has a role to do. How these children come out and meet at one single point where they can learn both academic and as well as personal excellence. Now, even in a school or institutions where they are learning, so they can exchange the thought of this behaving the moral values. So in together in all collective features, now we can see that now the modern time is having a versus of with the modern technology. Now children are restricting themselves, as well as the parents are not they are not incapable of handling the moral values of the children nowadays, because they are mostly confined to mobiles, and they are not even cultured how to help the families and the household chores. So these small ingredients will make a large volume. Now the children are not responsible. Now they are not taking any responsibility of helping even the family members. Even their parents are doing hard jobs and they are not found to be helping. Even washing dishes and washing these utensils, they are not helping out. And even small say when they get up from the bed, they are not even trained just to finish up their beds and these all small items. So these are important factors where the culture has to play. But in our ancient times, our traditions, our the forefathers and all, they are preserving this, because in Manipuri we say that it's not about only the books, that is lyric and laishu. So the term is coming as laishu, that is the moral tradition where everyone has to be in practical. It cannot be from theoretical part, it has to be applied also. So we need to see on both sides, that is content as well as process. So we cannot even dictate the children to do it, but we have to demonstrate it, and we have to see whether they are adapting it well and whether they are doing it well. Now children on the other side of the facets, like for example, environment. If you go to the environmental structures, now our localities, our societies, our laikais, whether they are even capable of are they feasible to be learned? Where the moral values are capable of adapting the children to make them learn, whether the children has a place to adopt some good habits from the surroundings,
Yes.
the neighbors. So these are big questions now coming up.
Okay.
Now, culture is nothing, but it is a change. It is a change. Culture will change. It is a revolution. We cannot stop these changes because culture has to be adopted in a very positive way, and we have to culture it in a sense where everyone has a positive response, as well as it can give good impacts to the future also. So now, in conclusion, in the first round, I would rather say that now children are now stick to mobiles.
Yes.
Which is essential part of the modern era. But this should not compromise with the applicability, the work ethics of the family, as well as responsibility of the family, because we are now focusing more on the academic excellence.
Yes, absolutely.
We never treat that academic excellence is no doubt is a very good thing, but academic excellence cannot do everything. So academic excellence as well as moral this excellence can go when they go together hand in hand. Then there will be a change in the society. There will be attributes, there will be contributions, and there will be sense of responsibility for the so-called nationalism. I think this will be the
okay.
thing.
Thank you so much for your input. A lot of things we can take away from there. I'll move to Mr. Satyajeet. Well, Mr. Satyajeet, we're talking about values which, as Dr. Rajivkumar mentioned, that these let's say if you're talking about a laikai, what is it that the children can take away from the laikai, the interaction with the elders, and also that this is actually an individual responsibility for the adults. So, but the problem with the youth, the younger generation today, is that, as Dr. Rajiv Kumar rightfully mentioned, that they're all stuck to mobiles or their computers. So they're kind of dependent on technology now, and there's no way that we can control that, and we don't know the content that they're actually watching, even if they are. So how can we, since it cannot be monitored, do you think, now again, let's talk about the cultural diversity. We live in a state where there is cultural diversity. So, and then they get to see the cultural diversity from the phone, let's say, from the internet. So I'm pretty sure that that's not going to be like the correct representation of a culture. Some people make it for fun, but the people who are watching it are not mature enough, and they might take it as a culture and they start following it. That's one of the negative effects. So what do you think are other negative effects of cultural diversity?
Humans have been living in our planet for a pretty long time now, and we have been used to have a society where we had a joint family, which one of our panelists has already mentioned. We were living in a joint family structure where the individual had quite a role to play, whether during epidemic, during war. I mean, they could be called anytime, and they had a social responsibility.
Right.
So humans, I mean, they were trained to serve the society, to serve the family, to serve the nation. But as you pointed out, as our one of the panelists have pointed out, now we have come to a situation where individualism has become more important, where career orientation is more important, where children and the parents are more oriented or more concerned about the life of the future of their children, and they give more emphasis on their career. So this is the basic changes which we have seen during the last few decades and so. And coming to your to the point you have raised is now after the 90s, we have seen that there's a drastic change in our life. Any children, all our children, they can see whatever they want. I mean, they can discuss whatever they want, and they have access to all sorts of information because after the arrival of the internet and after the arrival of the high-speed internet and mobile facility, I mean, they are exposed to everything in the world. I mean, they know what is going on in the world. But what is important is, do we know what they are really looking at?
Absolutely.
I mean, there are so many applications. Parents can use parental apps, but it is not possible for a father or a mother or a grandfather or grandmother to see every second what their children, what their watch are doing.
Yes,
so
absolutely true.
Our children are exposed to so many things which we feel is not safe for them. And the other changes which we have noticed is in the earlier times people were very religious, and when they are religious and when they follow the social custom and all, they follow certain traditions. And say, as one of our panelists has already mentioned in the first round, that since people were religious, they were true to themselves. They believe in truth, they believe in honesty, they believe in non-violence. But now the religious system has also broken down completely. I mean, though I am not saying that everybody is not religious now, but the religious system which we had followed earlier, it has also broken down. And so most children, they are not aware of exactly what is truth, what is non-violence, and they do not have any fear of the future also. For instance, when we were quite young, we are told that if we do anything wrong, we'll go to hell.
Yes.
And we'll, next rebirth, we'll not be doing good also. I mean, we are taught in such a way. But for instance, our children nowadays, they don't know what exactly is what is fair. They are not concerned about anything. What they exactly want is a very bad competition of the social system. For instance, one of my daughter, she was asking me to buy an iPhone during the last season. I said, what's the use of iPhone? I mean, you are still in the school. I mean, what's the point? She said most of her friends are having iPhone, and only few of them are not having it. So the competition now is very artificial now. I mean, it is very superficial also. I mean, it is very commercialized. Life has become very commercialized. So the morality of the children, it has degraded, and they are not sure of exactly what they are doing also. And the other aspect which you mentioned about the Leica is, one of our panelists is running a school. Both of them are involved with education and all. They must be knowing better than me. And the problem is, for example, in most of the Western schools which I have noticed is that they have lots of team sports, team-oriented sports. For example, football, then whatever team sports, even in music also, orchestra, not individual. And when I inquired what is the exact reason, they said that it gives the children what exactly is a team effort, what exactly is your responsibility in a team. That's why not individual like badminton, table tennis, but they are also taught about football and cricket, where they are collectively responsible for themselves or for their school. So we need lots of collective sports events, then sports activities which put more emphasis on the team. So it cultivates the idea of what exactly we are supposed to do in our life, and so it sets the lives also. And the other aspect is our children, they don't know what is right and what is wrong, and that is responsible for the degradation of our moral character. Many of our children exactly what is wrong, and what I mean by what is wrong and what is right is the previous generations, whenever they do something, they said, no, what you are doing is wrong. I mean, this is morally not correct, this is morally not right. But nowadays children, they are not sure what is right, the right decision, and what is the wrong decision. And as one of our panelists mentioned, that the peer pressure is more important. Just like I mentioned, one of my daughters demanding iPhone, and then then many of my friends, they are saying that even if they are boys, they said we want a very good bike with a big wheels and all. I mean, very competitive, very commercialized life we are living. So it has led to degradation of the society, and I think this has aggravated during the last 2 years during COVID pandemic. Because many of my friends who are running schools, they told me that there are lots of fights now. I mean, even boys and girls, even the girls are involved in lots of fights even in class 8, 9, 10, because they are in a change in the hormones, in the physical life. I mean, then they were confined to their homes for the last 2 years. When they have come out to schools, I mean, the head of institutions, the teachers are finding it very difficult to control all the children. So I think we need regular counseling. We need regular classes. I mean, to exactly how should we control our children. Otherwise, we have a very bleak society, bleak future, which we certainly do not want. And we hope that we can counsel them, and we can provide them a very good education, and we can give them exactly what is good for them also, and teach them what is right and what is wrong, and so that they can decide their future also, and they can further teach their children or the grandchildren what is right and what is wrong. I will briefly say this first.
Thank you for your input, Mr. Satyajeet. I'll come back to you in the second round. So we'll move to the second round now, starting with Dr. Konika Khuraijam. Doctor, now this is going to be a pretty controversial topic that I'm going to come up with now, which is going on, a hot topic, I would say, which is going on currently. How does, in your opinion, how does legalization of alcohol have an impact on the morals and values of the society? Because this has always been there in the society. Everybody knows drinking is not a new thing, consumption of alcohol, and it's also there in other societies. Other places sell alcohol very openly. Doesn't actually say that since it's legalized, even people who do not drink will go and get drunk, or people who were drinking will increase their alcohol consumption. So please go ahead and tell me what is your opinion on how it will impact or not impact our morals and values.
Thank you so much, Utpala, for that very pertinent question regarding the legalization of alcohol in our state. First and foremost, I would like to say that, with all due respects to all the panelists and to all the people who are listening to this particular debate, that Manipur is the wettest dry state.
That's a very nice term. Okay.
What I mean to say that, even though before the legalization of alcohol, there was not a single day when alcohol was lacking.
Exactly.
In this.
Right.
Every single nook and corner of Manipur will have a vendor who will sell every type of foreign liquor in the street. And people buy at atrocious price because of certain their needs. So legalization of alcohol, of course, when we say it is legalization, that means it will be open for sale.
Yes.
There will be shops everywhere selling alcohol. People will have, that right to drink alcohol. That is what is meant by legalization.
Right.
But frankly speaking, that legalization, though not put in paper, was always there.
Yes.
Had already been there. It was only an announcement.
True. Yes.
Frankly speaking, it's only an announcement by the government, because some restaurants in our state, even in Imphal area, sells alcohol.
Yes.
Of course, they've been selling at exorbitant price, which people pay because of their needs, as I say. But of course, if you have to look at the moral point of view, we will always say that legalization of any intoxicant is not morally good.
Absolutely.
Because legalization means giving the right to consume something. To consume, legalization of alcohol means giving the right to consume that alcohol. the government is giving the right to consume the alcohol. But you put the question that will legalization make everybody drink?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. Because people who drink will always keep on drinking. People who haven't drink will never drink it.
Absolutely.
So legalization will not have any effect on the drinking habits of people. Certainly, one advantage of legalization will be the state will be getting, all these taxes from the sellers, which will make the state richer.
The economy, yes,
Another
it'll improve.
advantage is alcohol will be sold in every nook and corner of Manipur. There will be free availability of alcohol everywhere. And children or, adults who used to drink very secretly will be coming on the streets, maybe, I don't know, to have a good time, right? So it always has a negative and a positive point.
Absolutely. I'd like to add something over here. I think every individual has become an expert in saying that drinking alcohol causes liver cirrhosis. But people are not aware that the breakfast that they eat early in the morning, which is wrapped in newspaper, the ink contains lead. Lead is a heavy metal. It goes into the body and it doesn't leave the body. They're not aware of that. It can cause cancer. The tea that they drink in the morning in a disposable cup, when you pour hot stuff into a disposable cup, it releases chemicals which can cause cancer. The oil that we eat from the fried food that we eat from outside, which is reused, that is again full of carcinogenics which can cause cancer because of the oil releasing chemicals which cause cancer when it is reheated. So there are so many things. Even let's talk about even the fields which are loaded with fertilizers, chemical fertilizers. Then we eat the fish that we catch from the fields, the small fish, again full of chemicals causing cancer. So why are we only talking about liver cirrhosis and why are we not talking about cancer, which is also another disease which is quite commonly found in Manipur, and that's the reason we have so many cancer hospitals coming up. So that's another point that I would like to add. I'm not saying legalize, I don't know, I won't comment on whether the government did the right thing or the wrong thing by legalization, but there are many other things that we should be aware of.
Yes.
So yes, please continue.
Yeah. And this legalization factor is always a debate because we have got emotion attached to it. We have got these emotions attached to the banning of alcohol and different organizations trying to put a hold on the selling of liquor, etc. But Utpala, so far, have we really these organizations really succeeded in stopping the selling of liquor?
Absolutely.
That is the question.
Even tobacco.
Thing, if we really go back into our ancestral history, alcohol has always been a part of our culture.
Absolutely true.
It has always been a part of our culture. And I'm not saying that, I am encouraging alcoholism, but having alcohol or, producing alcohol has always been a part of our culture. And if you really produce this alcohol in a very hygienic way, I think it can bring a lot of, income to our state. It might become very
which we
rich
really need. Yes.
And nevertheless, the question of hurting the sentimentality of these organizations who had been, trying to do away with alcohol and everything is it's a very touchy issue.
Right.
Because it's not something which people can stop altogether. And at the same time, it's not something which, we can say that, yes, it is completely correct and it is completely right for the state.
Yes.
But, Utpala, change is a constant factor.
Absolutely true.
We have to adapt and adopt to changes.
Yes. Very
we
true.
cannot keep on living in the 20th century because we are crossing the 21st century.
Yes.
We have to look at certain avenues which can economically enrich us. Now, drinking alcohol or not drinking alcohol completely depends on us.
Individual. Yes, absolutely.
And then it comes the role of the family, there comes a role of the society, there comes a role of the educational system to really instill in our students, in our youth, whether to drink or not to drink alcohol, or to take drugs or not to take drugs.
Yes.
Because when
The
we instill in
responsibility.
them these values,
Yes,
when we
absolutely.
instill these moral values and the right way to do certain things, I'm very sure that in every individual there is always a perfection, as Swami Vivekananda says, and that perfection with the right type of education will always come up, will come forward, and people will take the right decision. So it is in our hands to form the future of our state,
Right.
and not fight about alcoholism or non-alcoholism or selling of alcohol or other factor. Let us build our youth, let us build our students to become stronger, to
and know the values.
understand the difference between right and wrong,
Yes,
the
very
difference
true.
between what is morally correct and what is morally incorrect. That should be the crux of education.
Right. Thank you so much. I totally agree with you again on that. So I'll move to our next panelist, Dr. Rajivkumar. Dr. Rajivkumar, how good, we spoke about the joint family system in the previous round. Now, how good do you think is the joint family system in today's world? And what are some of the pros and cons of a joint family as well as a nuclear family? Let's talk about the nuclear family as well. Joint family and then the nuclear family.
Okay, it's a beautiful question. Traditionally, we have our forefathers rearing so many children. Say, how many children do you have? 12,
Right.
10 was the number. But nowadays, we don't listen to this number anymore because we are already planned.
Yes.
We have about 1 or 2,
Right.
even at the most 4. But morally, if we see our forefathers, how do they rear all these so many big numbers of children? So when we listen to their number of children, they always say very easily, without any hesitation, they would say, "I have seven daughters, five sons." It's very so, and they also live together in a very in a very cooperative understanding.
Household, right.
And nowadays the modern time is changing, no doubt. Now in the previous type of family was quite different now, and it is also the prevailing conditions of the family is also quite changed, because at the ancient time the tradition was men are born to earn.
Okay.
And these women folks are to look after the family, especially children, and cook the food and look after their children in a very they teach the children how to treat, and they teach whatever morals they can value, the values of moral. So these are taught by the mother of the family. So this was a tradition. But nowadays in the modern times, what happened is both the male and the female, they started earning together. So the lifestyle has already changed. Now the burden of looking after the family is now we have to change the track again.
Yes.
So we thought that the family, the mother or the housewife was no more a housewife. Is no more a housewife now, because they are also taking the part of the same the traditions what the male used to do it. So it is changing, and in this type of facet, we have to see, we have to introspect and see the perspective how it is going on. Now we have to adjust. We have to adjust together.
Right.
And sometimes when the male has also the role to help the family, because it's equally. Now male cannot move out of the family just to earn. Now female are also learning, are also earning. So equally they are taking the initiative to run the family well. So in this, both nuclear has also a potential, because nuclear family sometimes it's not found in the modern time now, because everyone is separated. And at the same time, the families are also not coordinated each other. Sometimes morally they are of the opinion to settle their own life without interfering to any other issues. So they want to have their own family, separate family. Although they stay together in one big house, but they are economically, physically, everything separated, so that everyone is not biased, and everyone is they make their own boundaries.
Right.
So this is the culture now in the modern times. But specifically, if we see the nuclear family type, which we found in the earlier time of our forefathers and the generations, earlier generations, I think it was fantastic and beautiful. And they have to, they also have the beautiful understanding of each other. They are also coordinating and helping each other at the time of needs also. But nowadays, because of the hectic schedules, the different programs they have undertaken, and the initiatives and the roles in the society is now changed. So we cannot even blame.
Okay.
We also cannot blame the new generations.
Right. So, may I interrupt you there,
Yeah, sure.
Dr. Rajivkumar? Well, we talked about, you just said it's a modern nuclear family setup now, with everybody living within the same, the land, but everybody individual, like having a nuclear family. What we see is our state is a small state. We do not have much land, especially the valley area. Now, the families are expanding. Families, let's say earlier if they had 12 kids, 10 kids, they could still manage within a household, within the compounds of, because they had big areas of land. But now, so to say, we can say the land is shrinking in a way because of the expanding population. So how do you think we can continue with this joint family system if this continues without the land?
Actually, it's a beautiful question. See, if they join hands together, even now the Manipur is a very small state, and where the square kilometer as per per individual is it's very small, and even rather now we are not able to even to shift to hills. We are only accommodated to only the valley areas.
Right.
And all the hills are now lying vacant and without any settlers in the hill areas.
Right.
Now we have to see another options, another alternatives where we can strive together and live together. Now people are also earning in terms of their economy, and their professions are also changing. When they earn, and when they join hands together, even we have to look for the house type where it has to go vertical.
Okay.
The construction of the house has to be not like the traditional type.
Right.
It has to be something like in the vertical form, so that everyone is accommodated. Even the fifth story, G+4, G+5. Sometimes it can be accommodated also.
Okay.
So now the technique also has come. The technology also has arrived. And there are so many Manipuris who are already architectural designers, and even very good engineers are there. So we can focus on the vertical type of building, so that everyone is enjoying again, and no need to shift from one locality to another place where there is space. So if you want to live together, we can even accommodate in such a way that, and we can also contribute each other and help each other to stay together, because sometimes family bondings are breaking up.
Yes, absolutely.
Because of the financial crisis and so many things. Madam also, Dr. Konika also wants to intervene.
Okay, please go ahead.
Please.
I want to say something.
Yes, please go ahead.
Utpala, if you give me the opportunity regarding joint family and nuclear family thing.
Right.
When we talk about joint family and nuclear family, we're talking about the value system. Actually.
Yes.
We are not actually talking about living together. It's like, even if we do not live together, if we celebrate our, our festivals together, our Diwalis are together, our Chairauba together, our Yausham together. If we have a day when we can be together and share stories with our grandparents, if we can put aside a particular occasion in a month, or a day in a month to be together as a family, to share our problems and also share our happiness, that will bring together these discarded families, these families which are going away, these nuclear families.
Yes.
Not necessarily necessarily we have to live together in one common place. I'm not disagreeing with you, sir.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Pointing out my opinion.
Yeah.
If we share, that sense of sharing, if we inculcate it at least once a week or once a month, and
Right.
communication is very important.
Very true.
This is the age of technology and WhatsApp.
Yes.
What form a WhatsApp group of families?
Yes.
Share your pictures, share your food, call each other up for dinners or lunch, go out for a picnic. That will be more than enough.
That's a beautiful intervention.
That sense of togetherness, that communication is very, very important.
Yes.
You know why people fight in this present world? It is because of lack of communication.
Yes,
Absolutely
I
right.
really.
I'm not making myself felt. I am not making myself understood to the other person. So
Very
the other
true.
person misunderstands me. So why not take opportunity of this technology and
Yes.
and bind together this a nuclear family into a system of a joint family type of thing where we keep on sharing our thoughts, we keep on sharing our happiness, and we also share our problems, because when problems are shared, it is divided. When
Very
happiness
beautiful
is
thought.
shared, it is multiplied.
Thank you for the beautiful intervention and beautiful points.
Thank you, Doctor. It was really, really enlightening.
This is really awesome. And yes, now we are living together, not by heart. Sometimes if we are staying in the distant places also, if the heart is there, then we can join together by this type of
Very
modes, like WhatsApp groups, even joining in the festival time and special spiritual events at home,
which we have.
And this is what actually the big cities are doing actually. At the time of Durga Puja or any of the big festivals, they used to move from one family to another family and stay there about 4 or 5 days, and they enjoyed their lives so much. So this also has to come in Manipur also, because we cannot stick to the old traditional type of living together.
Absolutely
but
right.
sometimes we need to adjust with the time and the place, and we also need to upgrade our way of living also sometimes, and without interfering and without cutting the bonds of the families.
Yes.
And sometimes the families are for example, one person is posted in some other places and he has to come definitely at his place, hometown, so that they can mingle with the family and they can have a special time with the entire group of families. So this is what we can also culture, and the small children, and they will also learn from this aspect also, and they will keep on keeping these traditions as forever. This is another beauty part of this living together, at the same time separate together, but on the condition of family bonding. This is what
we still have hope. So thank you again. I'll come back to you in the third round. I'll move to Mr. N.Satyajeet. Well, Mr. Satyajeet, we spoke about the joint family system, which doesn't necessarily have to be living together, but it depends on the bonding. Now, now related to that, we have festivals, and as everybody knows, it's even coming up now, the Ningol Chakuba. So we have this tradition of gifting to the Ningols during Ningol Chakuba. Now, if they happen to be living in a joint family, or there are, let's say, a couple of ladies coming from different families, daughters-in-law of the same family, they may not be of the same economic background. So now, when the gifting, it's a traditional thing, we gift. So the one who is economically well will get a beautiful gift, perhaps, and the one who is not economically well-to-do may not get something very, probably the gift cannot be compared to the one that the economically sound lady gets. So don't you think this creates some sort of an inequality in a joint family system, and what can we actually do about this this problem?
We have been discussing about this joint family and nuclear family. I live in a joint family. I exactly know how a joint family works and how nuclear family works. One good thing about joint family is about sharing our workload. For example, if I can go on vacation for a very, very long time without exactly not afraid of who look after my family. I mean, because there is a sense of sharing also. That's exactly what of my brothers can also do.
Okay.
But the other problem which arises, which many say, is that the one who really doesn't do anything, one who is a lazy person, I mean, people say that those who are lazy, they don't do anything, so they don't have any responsibility. So when we live in a joint family, down one who is a lazy, I'm using very good words, because people say that one who doesn't do anything, he lives on like till he reaches his 70s or 80s. This also happens.
Yes, that's also there.
So many parents say that. Many parents say that he is so irresponsible. He is so irresponsible. We'll throw him out next year. So this is one of the issue about nuclear and joint family. But I think about the issue of gift is what exactly matters is what we have in our heart, love. Because during the last few years, we have seen lots of discussion about this. Many organizations saying that we should stop giving gifts during New Chakova.
Okay.
And even during Charab also, because Charab is the time when it happens the other way around, when married women, they present gifts to their parents and to their brothers.
Yes.
So there are many opinions about it. But what exactly I feel is, I mean, everybody will understand that there is no competition in it. I mean, even all my sisters who will be coming, they'll be more happier to see us safe and sound rather than seeing the gifts that we present to them. So what is really important is, because we have all grown up in a same family, we exactly know who we are, who they are. So I think what is really important is the love and care which we shall be showing on that day. So there should be less emphasis on the gift. Everybody, though it's human nature, though everybody wants gift, but I think what exactly matters to our sisters are the love that we bestow to them on the Ningol Chakova Day. So I think that is more important, and I hope and this is more important, and I think one of our panelists want to intervene.
Okay.
I just want to add that let us put more emphasis on the food and less emphasis on the gifts or the presents.
Absolutely. That's very true. Okay, that's a very good point. So I'll come to the last round of tonight's debate, starting with you, Dr. Konika Khuraijam. Well, we know that these days, again, it comes down to values and morals. Weddings. Let's talk about weddings and all the functions related to wedding. The weddings these days are opulent. Everybody knows that. And the competition is getting higher. And even people who cannot afford it are trying to match their wedding with somebody probably who is economically much better off. Now that leads to a very unhealthy competition, and that is actually affecting what a beautiful ceremony that is, and it's gone more on the show than the actual reason for a wedding or any other function which is related to weddings, and not only weddings but even childbirth. So what would you like to say about that?
Yes, Utpala. If one noticed the wedding trend that is going on nowadays, it's shocking, and thank God I got wedded long time back and not nowadays, because my parents would have spent lakhs and lakhs of rupees.
Yes.
So even regarding this particular wedding system, it is all very connected with values actually. If one has the value of, perceiving weddings as a unification of the soul, not much, effect or not much value would be put on this, showbiz business. If one has the value of, perceiving wedding as, looking out for partners of life who will work together for the fulfillment of one's family and also at the same time society, one will certainly have a different perspective of wedding altogether. So, in my opinion, this competition on opulent wedding, though as an onlooker, look, it is such a feast for the eyes.
Yes.
And looking at all the decor and looking at all the glamour and glitch, one tends to get a little bit swayed by everything.
Yes.
But nevertheless, we should never forget that wedding, it all comes down to the unification of the soul.
Yes.
And that wedding is a very sacred affair. It should, we are supposed to pray to God to bless us on this particular day.
Right.
We are supposed to ask our ancestors to give their blessings on the unification of two beautiful souls.
Right.
So that we do something for ourselves and at the same time, do something to the society and make humankind live on forever. Actually, that is the very essence of wedding. So the opulence, nevertheless, is very, very attractive. It's very, very, tempting. But at the same time, we should never forget the core value of weddings and marriages. The core value of weddings and marriages. If our children of today and youth of today understand the core value of weddings and marriages, I'm very sure their whole perception of weddings and marriages will also slowly change. So it all comes down to that particular thing known as our value.
Yes,
our
absolutely.
People,
So, well, Dr. Konika, what if the person who is getting married would be the one spending for his or her own wedding? Do you think it would
that will be certainly a tragedy, because when you start a new life, you need money.
Absolutely.
When you start a new life, you need certain, finance to back you up in the long run. And spending at one go, just to have a opulent wedding, to meet up with the expectations of the society or with the expectations of friends and relatives, it is not going to do them any good. Better to have that amount of money in the bank and utilize it for something good.
Yes.
Or utilize it for your children, utilize it for your family.
For the future, yes, absolutely.
Move it away in one single night.
Right. So, thank you. Let's move on to the next question to Dr. Rajivkumar. Well, again, related to values and morals, the divorce rates in the state have gone up in the recent years, so to say. Do you think that's because of the degradation of values, or is it because our society is raising sexist men, or are we raising entitled women? What could be the reason that the divorce rate has gone up? Is it because of the lack of morals and values? What could be the reason?
The first statement.
The divorce rates in the state. Divorce rates. Divorce.
Divorce. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's a very good question, and yeah, actually, it's quite related with the ethics, moral values of life. Sometimes we like have a lot of compromise life, but beyond compromise, there are certain limitations which we have to take certain actions, because otherwise we cannot live the life like a hell. Sometimes everyone is born to be free.
Yes.
But free not in the sense of like negotiating with the moral of the culture of the land. Sometimes we also need to understand what is the real factor enhancing this diverse condition, the divorce conditions of a family, because this is the height of the hypocrisy. At the same time, it is the height of the limit. So one has the tendency to bear the thing, but otherwise, once it is crossing the limit,
yes,
it will take the final and ultimate step,
right,
to take the very drastic step, because it is not actually advisable, but it happens because one cannot bear the thing entire life, rest of the life. So this is one condition, and sometimes there are now the modern trend is also like teaching this tradition, because it is the gift of this modern era.
Yes.
Now people are losing their faith, and they are much like diverted from family love and affection. Sometimes when they are eating together, they are quite busy with their own mobiles,
Yes.
and they are not concentrated to the family ethics. Sometimes love and affection is gone far away, and people, even what they are eating is not even the taste is not filled. So this is the condition of the modern trend, because this also has affected the sleeping, the diets, the work culture, and everything is now demoralizing itself because it's degrading now. So this is the condition, and sometimes when they are attached to some social medias, they are quite fixed up to that, and because they lost the love and affection of the family, and this has resulted into the consequence of taking certain because they think that everything is possible through multimedia, and sometimes with this Facebook, sometimes these WhatsApp, Instagram, these are playing a vital role in shaping these very consequences of divorce. And in the earlier times, there was a divorce conditions that they are having a contrast on the economy of the family. Sometimes the family is brought up by this woman in a very hand to mouth, and she is managing the family very seriously. The woman is taking the utmost care of the family, but when the male is coming home with a drunkard family condition, and without bothering what is happening in the family, sometimes this has given a very pick of the sentiments to the lady, the wife. So and even when he comes to home and he doesn't eat very silently, and he used to start kicking up the dishes and everything when it's not cooked well, and this and that. So these are the things. So sometimes the family is in the turmoil conditions, and so one go doesn't doesn't make this decision, but it is a multiple go.
Okay.
And multiple consequences is now bared, but beyond bearing conditions, because this is the ultimate solution. Otherwise, how can we live with a family without any stable conditions?
Right.
So every family has the model that we need to understand each other. We need to hear only one voice. We don't need to hear only one voice. It is a give and take. So if we have given this smile, the return will be smile. If we listen to somebody, the person also will listen definitely. So this is give and take process, and sometimes only the male cannot expect everything from the family, the lady, and sometimes the lady cannot expect everything from the male only, because it's a
each one has to give 100%.
Yes, so this is the progression,
Right.
and sometimes this leads to the ultimate tragic decision of divorce.
It's more like in our culture, family time between the husband and the wife is not really encouraged, except let's say after everybody has gone off to sleep. Like in other places, people do go out on weekends with families. It's a tradition for them. It's traditional to take their children. So there's a family bonding. But what happens is, I think in our culture, the males tend to go out with their male friends. The women tend to go out with their women friends, and the children usually stay at home. And then that family outing is quite rare, except on very unfrequent occasions like New Year's Eve, or a New Year party, I beg your pardon, New Year picnic. So could that be also another reason why that bonding is not there?
Yes, definitely. This is very true, because as Swami Vivekananda has rightly said, that we need to mix English education with Indian culture. Sometimes Indian culture has a very beautiful thing, because it has a bonded relationship between the families, and even the husband and wife, even the parents and children, because they love each other. But the unfortunate condition is that the modern India is now going beyond than the West. Now, in terms of this, the behavior of the Indians are now beyond climax. It is not what was preferred by Swami Vivekananda. It was a long time, because the tradition at that time was very quite cultured, and everyone is maintaining the discipline, the moral values of the ethics of the ethics of the family. This is all maintained. But nowadays everything is degraded. And in the case of this, like as you were rightly pointed out, that sometimes when the husband is outing, there was no program that the entire family should visit.
Yes.
Sometimes we should plan the year plan. We should have an year plan that the medical, the budget has to be provided.
Yes.
The outing budget has to be provided. The clothing, the purchase, whatever has to be, like it has to be provided separately so that everyone enjoys the same facility to get together with the children. The purchase of the clothing, sometimes visiting to a mall, sometimes
Yes.
deliberately, if they choose something, it's our duty to just purchase them and make them happy. So this is how the bonding has to be like established. So it's a beautiful thing. We need to like understand each other.
Yes.
And sometimes the both husband and wife has to coordinate each other and listen to what they have said and shared together. This will be like the example to the children also, and when the children also get married.
Absolutely. I do hope people are able to have, or I would say they have the courage to do that. Okay, thank you so much for your input, Doctor. I'll move to Mr. N.Satyajeet, and this is the last question for tonight. Well, Mr. Satyajeet, what would you like to say about how we can impart ethics and morals to the coming generation? What do you think are some methods that we can use to teach the younger generation morals and ethics? I think you're on mute. Mute. I think. All right, please.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'll just slightly mention about the two questions which you raised earlier about one is the changes in the marriage nowadays.
Okay.
I mean, when we were married, we used to have a very small society, very small gifts and all. But nowadays, everything has changed from the tent structure. I mean, the custom, everything is changed. Even now, cake cutting. I mean, there are lots of changes which
Yes.
You must have seen. Which we have seen. I mean, I think these are some other effect also, which is also not good. For example, especially in northern India, the differences in sex ratio between men and women is so great. For example, in Haryana, it is so bad that the situation is so bad that the government has to do something about the girl child issue and all. So rather, it has some negative impact also that I wanted to slightly mention about it.
Okay.
And the other issue is about what exactly can we do. I mean, this is something which we cannot do at our individual level. I mean, the society as a whole has to do something about it. At our individual level, we can teach, we can do whatever, we can do something because we can make them spiritual. We can tell them that what is right and wrong, which I mentioned earlier, and that is what we can do. But the other issue is most of our children, they spend most of their time in schools and colleges nowadays because they don't have much time with us, with the parents nowadays.
Right.
So the educational institutes, they have to play a very important role in this because our education system is still stuck in the old colonial system. Still even in the colleges, you study all the 5-6 subjects and all. So I think we need a change in our education system also, where our children can be taught accept the education, accept the few literary issues, what they can do in their life also.
Okay.
Moral issues, practical issues that can be taught in the schools and then we can have some social, for example, especially during Yaosheng, Holi, we have 5-day sports events and all.
Yes.
That is also very good because during those 5 days, I mean, because there are so many children now, they all come out and play together. That is also good. So I hope that we have more interaction. But unfortunately, due to the law and order situation in Manipur, and as you asked in the previous question, there are not many good picnic spots in Manipur also where the families can go and enjoy. Nowadays, a few gardens, new picnic spots are coming up, new hotels are coming up, but we have not seen many because we have about 3 million people now. If they start coming out, we do not have the facility, we do not have the amenities to accommodate all the 3 million people in our state. So I think we need a complete social changes. We need a complete structural changes to have a very good society where we can have a very good future, where our children, when we grow up, where we can dream that when we grow up, our children will not throw us out, and we will not be forced to live in an old age home, and so we hope that situation doesn't come up. I hope we all have to pray for it, and we all have to work for it, and everybody has a role to play in it, individually, socially, and the government as well.
So, inculcating values and morals into the youth of today starts from home, from the parents, within, and from individual.
Yes,
right.
Exactly. But the problem is, as for example, life has changed now, because most of the parents, they are both working parents.
Yes.
As one of our panelists has rightly mentioned. Now, what the situation is, parents, they are not able to spend much of their time with the children nowadays.
Right.
Because all of them have to go by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock to go to the offices, and then by the evening when they come back, or the children, they go for tuition, and during dinner they get a very 5-6 minutes time. But what I would suggest is, every parent, whatever time they get, either on Saturday or Sunday, when during vacation also, they should always convey the message of love, purity, what is truth, and what exactly is the value of life, and what exactly is important in life is not only money.
Yes.
Human values, because what we discussed about Ningol Chakoba,
Yes.
what we have in our heart.
Absolutely.
That is also important, that we have to teach to our children.
I think we need to understand what is the story behind the festivals that we celebrate, the culture that we follow. Obviously, there is always a story behind that, and I guess we ourselves have to be aware of it to give it forward to the younger generation. So thank you so much for your input, Mr. Satyajeet. It's been a wonderful open debate tonight, and there's so much that we can really take away, and I hope our viewers have had a good time. Thank you so much, Dr. Konika, for being on our show. Dr. Rajivkumar, thank you so much for being on our show today and tonight, and Mr. Satyajeet, thank you so much for being on our show. It's been a lovely conversation, a lovely discussion. Thank you once again. So viewers, a very big thank you to you all for watching our show. Please do not forget to leave your precious feedback before we can go. Let's just take a quick look at what all we can take away from this discussion. Children need to know what is morally correct. We need to change our education system, which starts from home and from individual, from the parents. Whatever time you can spend with your children, please spend and teach them values, and we should be open to change. So please do not forget to leave your precious feedback, and do let us know if there are any social issues that you'd like us to cover in our show. Thank you all. I'm your host Utpala, signing off for tonight. See you again next Monday with another exciting topic. Stay safe and have a good night.
Washing machine, fridge, smart TV, air conditioner, kitchen items, amadi makal khudingmakki home appliances kidamak hoina waningai leitre. Laisampat Kunjeng Hazari Lekai Dalaiba, Mezo Hub Impalna, ahongbo mamalda, item khudingmakki up to 50% discount da offer tizari. Wedding set unalong matamdasu special oiba discount kayasu hamzari. Interest amatta yawdena 0% EMI loan ni kudong sabasu thamjari. Kudong sabasi mangan biraganu ngasi maklengsin biraku Mezo Hub Impal Laisampat Kunjeng Hazari Lekai.